an amazing keynote by an amazing presenter, our training chair, Stephanie Ann Roy, Distinguished Toastmaster. Stephanie last year was our Pathways chair, and this year she's expanding her role to include all training. And she's going to be talking about the Club Success Plan, which is even more important than before. And I'm not going to steal any of Stephanie's thunder. She will definitely tell you why and what you can do about it. Stephanie, it's my pleasure to pass control of today's training over to you for the Club Success Plan.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jackie. All right. So, just so you guys know, as we go through this, if you have questions or anything, feel free to raise your digital hand or put it in chat. I have the screens up. If I miss it, I'm sure Jackie will call me out. But my goal is for this to be interactive and, most importantly, helpful. So if something doesn't make sense and you need clarification, please ask about it, because there's probably someone else in the room that could use that clarification as well. But yes, today we are focusing on the Club Success Plan. So to start, I just have a quick conversation so I can kind of get to know the vibe of the room. So first of all, who is here for the very first time, like filling an officer role for the very first time? Oh, we have several of you. Excellent. Very cool. All right. And who knows what the Club Success Plan is? Who's heard of a Club Success Plan before? Debbie, Tom, yeah, I see some hands, but some people don't have their hands up. You can probably guess from the title in general what it is, but we're going to go into it a little bit more today. And who has done a Club Success Plan before? From our veteran officers. Good. I see some hands. Excellent. So some of you have experience. I will say, if you've done it in the past, every once in a while they reformatted it. They did that for this year. It's like easier. It's even more accessible. So if you've done it in the past, it's going to be even better this year. And then who knows why we are talking so much about the Club Success Plan this year? Can anyone jump off of mute and just shout it out? Why are we talking about the Club Success Plan so much?
Because it's required for distinguished clubs.
Yes, I heard like 4 different people say it. Yes. So it is a prerequisite to earn distinguished status this year. And for our newer members, we are going to go into what that exactly means. So if that just made no sense to you, don't worry about it. We're going to talk about it. But yes, if you want any hopes of being a distinguished club this year, you have to do the Club Success Plan. But what's awesome is they've made it easier. So now we're talking about distinguished clubs and the Club Success Plan, all of that. Has anyone ever wondered why we should bother worrying about DCP and all of that kind of stuff? I've heard this question. I'm glad that no one's raising their hand. That's excellent. But I have heard this come up before, because there's a lot of nuts and bolts and goals. If you're an officer in past years, you've probably heard the district trio pushing it, and the question has come up, why should we care about getting distinguished status? What's in it for us? So we're going to go over kind of the why behind it and then dig into how you can use it to your advantage throughout this year. So the main reason that we have the Distinguished Club program is to help clubs survive and thrive. That's really what it comes down to. So after 100 years of experience, 100 plus years of experience developing the Toastmasters program, the organization has determined that there are a few things that really indicate whether a club is going to survive and thrive in the long term. One of those is having a robust membership. The more people there are that show up to the party, the more fun it is, the more you can distribute the roles on the agenda. Has anyone ever had to do 2 roles in a meeting before? Juggle 2 roles? Yes. Has anyone had to juggle 3 roles in a meeting before? Yeah. It's kind of exhausting. Like maybe the first time it's a little exhilarating, but it gets old pretty quickly. So when you have a robust membership of existing and new members coming in regularly, that's going to provide energy. It's going to provide extra support to fill the different roles. You get new people coming into your officer team, so it's not the same people kind of carrying that weight year after year after year. So robust membership is something that helps it be the experience it's supposed to be, which is you learning and growing. If you're doing too much, you don't have the space for your individual goals. So we want to make sure we're all supporting each other to elevate our own individual journey. The next thing is participation. Doing the program, participating in the educational curriculum. So Toastmasters has a patented, copyrighted educational curriculum. I don't know if it's actually patented, but so they have an education program that has been developed over, again, years of experience. And this is their promise that they make to someone that shows up to a Toastmasters meeting, is that they're going to get this education backbone behind it. So clubs that are participating in that education program tend to survive and thrive in the long term. Members that have some kind of trackable progress that they can look to, whether it's through pathways or the officer team having kind of a scorecard, understanding how they're doing, that's going to help the club move in the direction it needs to go to survive and thrive. So this would be that classic, SMART goals, and what gets measured gets managed, that whole idea. So making sure that you're clear on concisely what your goals are. Obviously, there's a lot that goes behind that goal. There's the heart behind all of it. But if it's trackable, now you can look at, what do I need to do? Where are the weak points? How can we get stronger? And then finally, engagement with the organization, making sure that you're showing up to club officer training, you're learning more about what the organization has to offer so that you can continue on your Toastmasters journey and the club can continue to survive and thrive. So that's why we have these tools and the DCP and the club success plan and all of that. So this next slide, you guys already have 2 out of 3 answers. But what are the 3 big tools that Toastmasters gives us to help our clubs survive and thrive, to help us help our clubs? Shout them out.
The club success
Pathway
plan.
program.
Oh, actually, I did not count pathways as one of these tools. So that's like the whole tool chest, I think, is the pathways program. But there are 3 very specific tools, like tangible tools, that 2 of which, again, I've already said. And Jackie, which one did you say?
Club success plan.
The club success plan. That would be one. What's another one?
The executive committee.
Ooh, not the executive committee works with these 3 tools.
What moments of
Club
truth?
officers.
So moments of truth is one of them. Again, the club officers work with these 3 tools. So we've got the club success plan, moments of truth, and then what's the big scorecard that your club looks at to know how they're doing?
The DCP chart.
DCP, yes. So club success plan, moments of truth, and DCP. So these are the 3. This is your hammer, your wrench, and your screwdriver, so that you can build the club, I guess. I don't know. Stretching the analogy there. So we're going to look at each of these 3 tools, and we're going to talk about them kind of from the perspective of these are representative and allow you to check in with the mind, the body, and kind of the heart or the spirit of your club. So the first one we're going to look at briefly, which is not the main focus of today, but I want to touch on it because it's going to help with your club success plan, is moments of truth. This is where you get that heart-based conversation going with your club members about how you can continue to improve. It's a very simple tool. Has anyone used done moments of truth before in their club? Yeah, awesome. Is moments of truth brand new for anybody? Like, you've never heard of it before? Few people. Yeah, because we got some first-time officers. Awesome. So moments of truth looks at 6 main areas, categories of things that you can look at to help diagnose ways to continue to improve your club over time. Again, we're not going to dive into this too deep. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to Jackie or myself. One of us, somebody may even be able to come and visit and help your club do it if you're struggling with it. Your area director can also help. But it's a pretty simple tool. There's 2 pages of rating things on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. So things like under first impressions, guests are greeted warmly and introduced to the officers and members. That's a best practice that you want to make sure is happening so that your club can survive and thrive. So this gives you a really simple way to do some nuts and bolts diagnostics. And then it gives you a best practices chart. So you can, if you're having particular challenges, if you're getting low scores in a certain area, it, goes into the challenge, gives you some possible causes, like the cause beneath the symptom, and then some recommendations for things that you can work on. So as a nuts and bolts like data collection tool, this is helpful, but the most helpful thing, in my opinion, that comes out of Moments of Truth is the conversation that you end up having with your club officers and with your entire club about how you can improve. Last year, my club did this over pizza. We went to a local pizza place. We got a couple pizzas to split, and then we sat around and just talked about things that we liked about our club, things we thought we could improve. And we just got to the heart of the matter. And it also created a bonding experience right at the start of the Toastmasters year. So Moments of Truth is your starting point, especially for checking in with your club members. So are there any questions about Moments of Truth? I noticed some things in the chat. So Moments of Truth is available on toastmasters.org. I think I've downloaded it about 17 times at this point because my way to find it is just to go to Google and say Toastmasters Moments of Truth. And then it comes up. It's the first thing that always comes up. So if you're ever looking for a resource, Google is an awesome friend. And what's really cool is then you may also get some other ideas from other districts about how they've done Moments of Truth, what other clubs have done. So are there any questions about Moments of Truth before we move on? Again, this is like a brief overview. Good? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. So next is the Distinguished Club Program. This we need to check in with because it's a key element of what we're planning in our club's success plan. So like we talked about, these are the things that the checkup, the doctor checkup, the vital signs of your club that Toastmasters has found is helpful to track. Because what gets measured is what what gets measured is what gets managed. There we go. I forgot the saying for a second. So these are your 10 goals that you're trying to achieve each year towards DCP. Is this brand new information for anybody? Because I know we talk a lot about DCP. I can dive into what these things mean in more detail if we have people who've never encountered this before, or we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. So in brief, there are 4 categories of goals. More than half of them deal with education, which would be the Pathways program, people getting level awards, giving speeches. 2 of them have to do with membership and getting that robust flow of new members into your club. You've got 1 that you're working on right now by being here, which is the training. And then 1 is just an administrative goal. So that's that connection to the greater Toastmasters organization. So are there any questions about DCP and how these goals work? Does everyone feel pretty comfortable with this? Yes? Awesome. All right, cool. So I'm just going to keep rolling. If at some point you think of a question, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. Questions? No. All right. So now last year in one of my clubs, that's actually it's an online club in Canada. Oh, wait, no, just kidding. That was a different slide. So the Distinguished Club Program for 2025-2026 has changed just a scooch. And we already talked about one of the prerequisite changes. So I want to go over this so everybody understands, because we want to see you guys all achieve distinguished status by serving your members. It all comes back to the helping members achieve their goals. If you're doing that, you're probably going to end up getting DCP kind of by default. But for this, just to get distinguished, baseline distinguished level, you need to submit your club success plan by September 30th. You need to have 20 members, which is charter strength. That's like the number, the benchmark that you really want to be aiming for is 20 members. Toastmasters has found over 100 years that when a club has at least 20 members, it's a really positive experience. People aren't getting overloaded and burnt out. So 20 members or a net growth of 3 members. So if you have 12 members in your club at the start of the year, shout it out. How many members do you need to have at a minimum at the end of the year to be able to be distinguished?
15.
Yes, very good. 15. Yes, so net growth means you've gained 3 members in total over what you had as your base. And then, like in the past, you need to achieve at least 5 of those DCP goals to be able to get distinguished status. So now for select distinguish, there's a level up in the membership goal that is required. So you need to have your club success plan by September 30th. If you want to play the game, you have to get that in by September 30th. And then 20 members or a net growth of 5. Where does the number 5 come from? Does anyone remember? Jackie, go for it.
That's the way it used to be before the pandemic.
Yes. Yeah. So we have some people that have, probably a lot of people that have joined post-pandemic. The net growth of 3 was a change that they made, coming out of the pandemic. Let's just face it, everything was difficult all over the place. So they changed it to a net growth of 3. It used to be 5. So now they've kind of tiered it. So to get select distinguished, you have to have 20 members or a net growth of 5. If our club has 12 members to start the year, how many do we need to finish with to get select distinguished?
17.
17. Awesome. I know this is basic math, but this can be like a little confusing. There's a lot of words and it can get kind of overwhelming. So, and then the other part is 7 DCP goals, 7 out of those 10 goals. President's distinguished, club success plan, 20 members. That's it. I got you, Samantha. It's coming. 20 members, nothing about net growth. If you want to be President's Distinguished, you have to have at least 20 members on June 30th. That's it. And then you need to also have done 9 DCP goals. And now there is a brand new level if you want to achieve to an even higher level for those clubs that get 10 out of 10 goals routinely, which does happen. There's a Smedley Distinguished, which you need 25 members and to complete 10 out of 10 of the DCP goals. And there are clubs out there that do this. It's not as common as the other levels, but there are clubs that do this, and I love this new goal to work towards. Why is it Smedley Distinguished? That's a weird word.
Founder, correct?
Founder of Toastmasters.
Yes, Ralph Smedley founded Toastmasters in California back in 1924 at a YMCA. All right, so someone asked about the asterisks. For the most part, you don't have to worry about it. There are some specific things for like newly chartered clubs. The only thing that may come up for some of y'all is transfer members don't count towards the membership goals. So just so that you're aware, I'm not sure why exactly, but anyone that transfers from another club to your club won't count towards the total. But if they're a dual member, they're a part of 2 clubs, or new or reinstated, those all count. Stephen.
A question I had was, so if you're a big club with over 20 members, let's say you have 30 members as of right now, and by June 30th, you go down to 20 members, but you've earned 9 goals, you still get the President's Distinguished, even though your membership's declining. That 20 members is sort of like a benchmark.
Yes.
Your 20 members are greater, and okay.
Yeah, that's really, so as long as you've got 20, I mean, that's enough people to get some word of mouth going, to rebuild. You're always going to there's going to be flux. Corporate clubs are going to lose people because of layoffs, unfortunately, things like that. So really it's, trying to stay over 20 is where the club is going to be at its healthiest to be able to support its members and, again, not have people burning out. So Any other questions about any of this?
I have a question in terms of submitting by the 30th. Where is that done? And
that's next.
Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah, that is coming. Yeah. So anything else about specifically the Distinguished Club program goals, all of that, it makes sense. Again, if you get confused, feel free to reach out to your area director, your division director, me, Jackie, the trio, any helpful Toastmaster will be happy to answer any questions you have to understand it. So this is what I thought was coming before. So my other club, one of my club that's in Canada, we got President's Distinguished last year, which is really cool. We are very proud of the fact that we got President's Distinguished. The reason that we ended up with President's Distinguished is because we have a blast when we show up to our meetings. We make sure that every member is smiling, feels served, they're achieving their goals, we're holding them accountable for their goals. We have a robust mentorship program that makes sure that every member is connected with a mentor pretty much immediately when they join. That's step number one. And because we do such a good job of taking care of the individuals, honestly, we don't pay that much attention to like who's going to get what pathways level. We don't have to try to force anything to happen. It just happens because we have a robust membership, because we engage with the education program, and because we take care of our members as individuals. So as you go back to your clubs and you're looking at DCP and you're writing up your club success plan and you're coming up with goals for the year, just remember that it's all about helping create those connections and helping the members grow and learn and succeed. Then the distinguished stuff will happen. But we do need to have some intentional planning, because we also made sure to do open houses and do things to bring in new members. We went out and got people to join our club. Otherwise, we wouldn't have hit the benchmark we needed in membership to be distinguished. So the club success plan, where the moments of truth gets at the heart of your club, gets those conversations starting. DCP is your annual doctor visit to make sure that your vital signs are looking good. The club success plan is really getting your head in the game of how are we going to make sure that things move forwards. So where you're going to find it is in Club Central, and I'm actually going to bounce out of this in a minute, and we're going to go into Toastmasters International. I'm going to show you exactly where to find it. But it's a very easy tool to use. You have two options. There's online and interactive, which is pretty cool. And then you have the PDF upload. I'm excited to try the interactive version. We did a PDF upload last year, so I haven't seen it. So I know that I heard people talking about the interactive version last year. I was getting jealous because they were talking about how it was helping them track things and they were seeing, updates and stuff. So I would strongly recommend, as long as you have, your members have good internet, to do that online one. Oh, we're not done yet. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing that because we're through the PowerPointy part. Any particular questions as we go into the live showing here? Feeling pretty good? All right, awesome. Whoop. Steve, did you have something, or are you all set?
I was just agreeing that yes, I feel good. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So when you log into TI, since we do have some new members, your home is where you go for pretty much everything you want to do in Toastmasters. If someone ever inquires with a club, they're going to get this. So there was a club, I moved recently and I peeked into another club. So that's why I have this. You might not see it. But then, you've got your base camp, pathways, all that information. And then you'll notice that you have some new things if you're a brand new officer. There's the annual business meeting, which is a whole different conversation we're not going to have. And then under Leadership Central, you have Club Central, and that's where you're going to find your club success plan. So then we wait for it to load because Toastmasters is 100 years old. And then what it's going to do is bring us to all of the tools that you're going to need to help you be successful in running your club. Come on, man. It's usually faster than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this wheel spin, and we're going to go look at the club success plan that I do have ready to go, the PDF version of it. So my recommendation right now is I'm going to go in the chat and drop in the PDF version of the Club Success Plan. And what I would strongly recommend is that you download it. There we go. Is that you download it, and then, or even if it's just on like a scratch piece of paper, take some notes as we're going through this process so that you can go back to your club with maybe some of the things filled out. Now, that being said, it is actually, it's pretty easy to get through. So obviously, you know, our program year is 2025 to 2026. You can find your club name on your, or club number, I mean, on your dashboard or your club website. If you do the digital version, I'm sure it autofills. You've got the requirements and kind of an overview of the DCP goals, and then we get into it. So to start, it's pretty straightforward. You go into your Basecamp, to your Basecamp manager, and you look for who are 6 people that are likely to complete a level 1 award this year. So if you want to play along, you could even go into your Basecamp. And if you're a new officer, this will be a new feature, but up in the top bar, you have Basecamp Manager. That's where you can see where all of your club members are at. For doing the club success plan, my recommendation would be to look at paths in progress. And then it's got to pull all the information, so it takes a second. But then what you're going to see is how many projects people have completed in each level of their pathways. This is always the fun part of doing stuff. There we go. So I can look right here and say, all right, so all these people have already done level 1, so they're not people I'm going to want to look at. But let's see, you know, Brian, maybe Brian could do it. He does have 2 paths going, so maybe I don't want to look at him for this level 1, but I could talk to him. We have, once these people load, I have some newer members that I know are potentially going to be able to do a level 1. But as you go through, you are going to fill this out for all of the different levels. So as I look at these top ones, ooh, Philip has 2 out of 3 level 3 goals. So I know I'm going to be checking in with Philip pretty regularly throughout the year and asking if there's any way I can support him in filling that level 3 project. And then I've got, Mohan, our district director. He's getting pretty close on a couple of levels here. So maybe we can get him to do 3 projects over the course of the year, and we can get a level 2 and a level 3 out of him. So does this make sense? Pretty straightforward. Yeah, so this is where I would go, or where I would send your VPE to go figure out this section of the club success plan. You're just looking for who are potential people we can encourage and motivate to, you know, to be able to achieve these goals this year. So now that's the first 2 pages. At the bottom, this is where it'd be good to have a bit of a conversation in your club executive meeting, especially with the VPE. How are you going to prepare new members to work in pathways? Who's going to be responsible for showing them around Basecamp? And what are some ways to motivate your members? So does anyone have any thoughts that they can share on this? So let's first look at helping. How does your club help prepare new members to work in pathways? What do you guys do in your club?
Really what we do is the VP of Ed should sit down with that new club member and show them the basics of the website, specifically pathways, and show them how to sign up for that first path.
Excellent. Yes. VPE. This is something now, depending on your club, I could also see it being something that's shared or supported with the VPM. So it doesn't always have to be the VPE that does it, but it is in their kind of domain of responsibility to make sure that one way or another, people are getting showed around Basecamp. So one-on-one sessions is an awesome way to do that. Any other thoughts about how to prepare new members to work in pathways? What else do other clubs do to support their new members getting started? Nina.
I saw yesterday at the VPE meeting, someone brought up a really good idea that I wrote down, and they have 15-minute meetings with old members to kind of see where they're going to be, where they're going for the next year. And then they have 30-minute meetings with new members to get them on track and get it started. And I thought that was a really great tactic to have one-on-one and touch base with everybody to see, get a litmus test, if you will, of their commitment and what they're planning to do. And also for the new members to do this and get them on board. It's kind of like onboarding. I would say it's more of the onboarding into the club idea, but I really like the idea of touching every member.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it all comes back to that connection. There's an author and speaker that I follow, and he started a community a couple years ago, and the thing that he kept talking about is people are drowning in content and starved for community. So yes, we have this really great education program, but people can find education in a lot of, everything's available on the internet nowadays. So what
YouTube,
makes
LinkedIn.
Yep. Yeah. So what makes
Right.
Toastmasters special? It's the personal connection. So especially, I think most people are back in person, but especially if you're still in an online club, making sure that you carve out that time for the members to connect on one with the VPE, another officer, a mentor, just making sure that they get that connection is massive, because I think that is one of the most unique things that Toastmasters offers is that community. So we want to lean into that with our club members. Anything else about
Stephanie, I
Yeah.
also wanted to mention there's a great comment in the chat section from
Oh,
Pam regarding this.
excellent. Yeah, I didn't have my chat open. So yes, club mentors, 100%. Yeah, that I was hoping someone was going to bring that up, because that is a huge element. I think it's one of the more challenging elements at times of keeping it going. I've heard of clubs where they had they blew up in membership, and then they had, their veteran members were all trying to juggle a lot of people that they needed to mentor. So it can be tricky, but figuring out how to set up a mentoring program, talking to your area director for ideas, connecting with other clubs in the district to learn what they've done with their mentorship program, that goes a huge way, because mentors provide accountability. They provide coaching, they provide that connection. So you have that onboarding meeting, but then what happens? You get them into pathways, but then who's encouraging them to get through their icebreaker and then get through level 1 and then keep going? Usually if you can get people past level 1 and 2, they're pretty locked in at that point, unless there's a life change. So getting them through those first 2 levels is really kind of essential for the longevity of the member. All right, any other thoughts on pathways? What about motivation to progress through pathways? Any thoughts there? How do you track it in your club?
I had heard at a prior officer training for icebreakers, there was a club out there that was giving icebreaker mints.
That's my club.
I love that idea.
Yes, yeah, that's a super fun one. So and you know what I love about that is it's silly, it's fun, but it's still recognition, and they get a tangible thing. And mints are relatively useful too. So it's something that they can actually. There you go. Jesse's holding up his
Yeah, we do
icebreakers.
too. It's a great
Awesome.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that it's something that is actually usable. Toastmasters does have fun little ribbons and things like that, that's also cool. But I like that this is something that people can, every time they pop a mint in their mouth for the next month, they're going to be thinking of Toastmasters and that achievement that they had. So that's really cool. Any other? Yeah, Jackie.
Something that I know some VPEs do is whenever a member completes a level, the VPEs will actually print out, if this is an in-person club, they'll print out the level completion certificate and then present it to the member at the next meeting. So it's calling them up and publicly recognizing their achievement.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a big one. So finding some sort of public recognition. As an online club, that can be challenging. So one of the things, I'll let you know how it works after this year, but one of the things we're playing with in Talk It Up Toastmasters is we made little trophy cases that when someone completes a level, they get a little crown. We have a bunch of, where do I need to go? Over here. A bunch of different awards that they can earn. So we have a little hockey puck trophy when they give their icebreaker, because we're not in person to to be able to hand out stuff, or we can display a certificate and send them a PDF. But let's be real, who's printing those out, you know? So since we can't tangibly give it to them, we're trying to find a way to keep it in people's faces, to that encouragement. So we're doing the backgrounds for each member. Posting badges from Pathways achievements on LinkedIn. I like that, Stephen. Those level completion certificates, those are available in your Basecamp manager. And you know what? I'm going to keep moving for now, but let's put a pin in that question.
Hey,
So one
Stephanie,
of the, yes,
I was going to say, Lisa's got a question.
yes, yeah.
Just really quickly along the lines of achievement, how would one achieve the Triple Crown? I've heard of it, and I just want to make sure that I'm clear because I'd like to go for it.
Yeah, actually, it's relatively straightforward. Complete 3 levels within a Toastmasters year. So if you complete what level 1, 2, and 3 of your path, that's a Triple Crown. Or if you do level 5 of one path and then 1 and 2 of another, that would be a Triple Crown. Yeah. So, and then Jackie, I'm going to see if we have time on the back end for me to go show you exactly where it is. Because I'm still learning.
Okay.
So I'd probably have to poke around, but it's in Basecamp. One of the things I like about this Basecamp is there's not a lot of places for things to hide. There's like 4 tabs, and then you can look at your club members, and that's about it. So we should be able to find it, but I want to just make sure we're getting through all of this first, if that's cool. So all right, so we talked about pathways. The big thing is, I mean, recognition. I think that came up in Monday's COT. The more that you appreciate, acknowledge, and congratulate your members, the more motivated they're going to be. So now the next page is all about that membership goals. So getting 4 new, dual, or reinstated members, and then getting 4 more new, dual, or reinstated members. So this page is relatively simple in the number of blanks to fill in, but I think this is where you want to spend some time planning for a lot of clubs. So your member base is how many you started with. You can find this information on the dashboard, which we're going to, yes, Nina, actually, if you email me, then it'll be even easier for me to do that because it's in Canva. So you've got your membership base, where you started, and then where you want to go. So for my club in Canada, we're at 23 members right now, so we want 25. We want to be Smedley distinguished. For Talk It Up Toastmasters here in District 53, our thermostat has been stuck at 15. It's driving us crazy. I'm pretty sure our goal is going to be 20. It would be awesome to shoot for Smedley distinguished, but you want to kind of balance the high in the sky goals with, that you've got your moonshot goal, and then you've got the goal that you can really commit and stretch to. And it's good to, maybe even want to think through 3 levels to this. When I do goal setting with my clients professionally, we'll talk about a commit goal, a stretch goal, and a moonshot goal. So you can still do the big, hairy, audacious goal, but then you can also give that thing that we're not budging on this. We will not end up lower than 15. We refuse to let that happen. We're going to commit to that. Our stretch goal is to get to 20, and then our moonshot can be 25. So that's something of an element you can bring in if you want to. That's a whole different conversation on goal setting. But you got your base, your goal, and then what are you going to do? How are you going to motivate people to renew? And how are you going to get new members? I heard someone mention a VP PR calendar. I think that is something that should be shared potentially among all of your officers. The VP PR role is a bottomless well of tasks that you could do when you go into social media and showing up at community events and guest speaking at events and connecting with the Chamber of Commerce and then running around town and putting up flyers. It's a full-time job and a half to do VPR, like all the things that you could do. So if you can get your whole officer team behind a calendar where now you're running 3 or 4 open houses over the course of the year. And from the start of the year, it's going to be October before the holidays. It's going to be January when everybody's all hot. and looking for their New Year's ways to fill their New Year's resolution. And then we're going to do April before things get crazy for summer. Or maybe you want to squish them in there and do it in March so you can hit that April's renewal deadline, So you plan out from the start of the year. What are the calendar items that you're going to do? So does anyone have any thoughts on ways to motivate your current members to renew?
I think one of the things, if I have someone who's late renewing, I'll try to call them or text them. But if they're still kind of hesitant, I try to ask them or find out from them, can you recall why you joined Toastmasters in the first place? Maybe can you go back to that thought process and see if that helps them motivate to renew their dues.
Yes, love it. Again, it comes back to that one-on-one connection. That's excellent. And then I know all the millennials in the room might have just heard call and went, ugh, but it is good every once in a while to pick up the phone and, maybe text first so that they're ready for you. But some email doesn't always cut it. We all know how full our email inbox gets in a day. So you might want to find other ways to reach out to people. What else for getting members to renew?
Ask them to.
Yes. Yeah, don't sleep on club dues. Like I would say a month and a half in advance, you want to be starting to let people know that dues renewals are coming up. Encourage them to do it early so they've checked the box. So stay on top of it. And then any other thoughts?
Yeah,
I have one. Yeah, go.
Yeah. I'm part of like a corporate club, and a lot of the members of our club are in the same department as me. So I kind of talk to them about like, what are you hoping to get out of it? We do like a lot of leadership presentations, and I always go back to like my experience and how it's helped me to be more confident in front of our leadership, and like how can I get you to be as confident as maybe I feel, and let's come up with a plan for the next few months or the next year. So
Awesome. Yeah. So goal setting, more one-on-one connection, talking about leadership in your club meeting. We're a leadership organization. So centering presentations around leadership and then connecting it back to the benefits that they're receiving from Toastmasters. Sometimes it's just getting people to make that connection. All you have to do is reflect back to, I remember a year ago when you joined and you were so nervous, and look at you now. Look at how confident you were getting up there. You didn't even bat an eyelash being Toastmaster today or giving a speech. So, reminding them, like Steven said, why they joined, of their goals, like Amanda said. And then the other element of it is all that stuff we talked about with pathways, all the recognition and the encouragement. That's motivating people to renew, because if they're enjoying what they're doing, they're just going to do it because that's what they do. Tom, I saw you unmuted. Did you have something?
Yes, ma'am. Two things. Number one, consider enabling self-pay if your club hasn't done that, because that makes renewing much easier for people. And the second thing is, when they do renew, give them the choice of renewing for 6 months or 12 months. Because if they renew for 12 months, that makes it that much easier when the second 6 months rolls around.
Yes. Love it. Yeah. So reducing that resistance. I like that. Yeah. And then the self-pay feature is awesome. You just do have to be aware that you have to collect, if you have any club dues, that has to be collected separately. So now you do have to do two things. I hope that someday they figure out how to streamline that. Awesome. All right. And then what about gaining new? Oh, and then Samantha, to answer your question in the chat, this would be under the president is the leader of this project. But then obviously it's a whole group project to get it done. And then any ideas on getting new members, recruiting new members? I love it, Paula.
It's a big subject.
Yeah.
Hold an open house.
Yeah. Yep. Open
I was
house.
just gonna say that. That's what we did in our company.
Excellent. Great, Pam. Website up to date. Thanks, Steven. Yeah. Free Toast Host. Yep. And your Find a Club on TI. I know that the TI, Jackie, is the LinkedIn campaign still going on, or was that like specifically a last year thing?
That was specifically for last year.
Yeah, so making sure your address is correct, open house, flyers, fairs. And I mentor people at work. I always mention Toastmasters. Yes. So press releases, all of that kind of stuff is awesome. The best marketing is always word of mouth. If you are awesome, if you're encouraging your members to talk about their Toastmasters experience, if you're encouraging them to maybe take a table topic session to kind of refine their testimonial on table topics, or ask people if you can record their testimonial to put it on your website or put it out on social media. It's that the social aspect of it, especially for something like this, is going to have the biggest influence. So yeah, make it personal, connect to them as individuals. Remember, nobody cares about Toastmasters except for other Toastmasters. When you're going out into the world talking about Toastmasters, it's about the skills they're going to gain, the things that they can accomplish, the confidence, all of that. All right, so now I'm seeing we're getting close here, so I'm going to keep scrolling through. These are great ideas. I hope you guys are taking notes to bring back to your club, so some of your homework is done before you leave class today. Training goals. This one's really easy. Just type in names and then check it off as you do it. You guys are already checking the box, at least on yours. And then, you may need to, depending on your club, you might need to find some ways to motivate officers to attend officer training sessions. If they're signing up to be a leader, it's really good for them to come, and make sure that they're continuing to get trained. We are continuing to try to evolve and enhance the officer training experience. So if you have an officer that has strong feelings, feel free to have them share their feedback with us so that we can continue to do things that make it worthwhile to show up here. And then finally, you've got your administrative goals, which hopefully should be pretty simple to do. You've got to get your membership dues in on time once. I'm pretty sure. Is it both times, Jack, or is it just one time? It's just one time. So you can you have wiggle room on this one. And then the officer list, already done. Your last year's officers had to do it before June 30th. So this box is probably already checked for you. Any questions on any of that? Oh, pretty good. All right. And then as you get down into it, there is an optional section, which is really good to talk about with your club officer team, but it is not required, which basically means, this is mostly very simple stuff. I think there were 5 or 6 long form questions, and then some pretty simple boxes to fill in. So there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this by September 30th. So now the optional section just kind of gets at, making sure the entire team is on board with the values of the executive committee. So Toastmasters values of integrity, service, respect, and excellence. And then it also gets you thinking about, how are you going to make decisions? What happens if there's conflict? How are we going to handle that? It is always better to have that conversation in advance so that now you have a language, you have some tools that you can go back to and say, all right, we decided if there was any kind of conflict, we're just going to go right to parliamentary procedure and we're going to hold a vote on it. And then, you're just following Robert's Rules of Orders to make your club decisions if you need it, if you need to go to that more formal process. So by having this conversation in advance, it helps set people up, like accountability. If at the start of the year you say, okay, if someone says they're going to do something and they haven't done it, then the president is going to follow up, 2 days after the deadline or on the deadline, whatever it is. And now if someone gets grumpy, it's like, well, we had an agreement. We said we were going to check in with you, so that's all we're doing. We understand life is busy. We're here to help and support you. We just need to have this open communication. So I recommend it, but you don't have to do it. And then that's it. From there, that's all there is. You've got an appendix if you want to fill in action items. but it's pretty simple. So let's see. Yay, we finally loaded over here. So in Club Central, it's right here under Club Club Management. There's the Club Success Plan. And when you click on it, you'll see that same screen that we saw the snapshot of in the PowerPoint. So you've got the interactive version, the online version, and then the PDF. So you can, that form that I put in the chat, you could fill that out as a club and then just upload it. Or you can go through the process. Once you've decided as a club that you're going to do the interactive one, you just confirm the choice and then you get into the digital version of it. So how are we doing?
I have a question. I have a question, Stephanie. Maybe you address this. So this form is filled out and it's uploaded. Can it then be updated during the year, or is it like a one-time?
So
once it's uploaded, is it like an interactive?
So if you do the online interactive, it will definitely be interactive.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure the PDF, if you do that version, while that's going to be the official version of record, if you will, there's absolutely nothing stopping your executive committee. And in fact, please do update it, a local copy throughout the year. Don't let it sit on a shelf and get dusty. Great question.
Right,
yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I remember from last year, you can't go back and look at it, but the PDF once uploaded was a static document. So if you want that ability to interact with it and have any officer be able to go in and look at it at any time, I would definitely recommend the online version of it.
Good question.